So you got to remove the word me from the conversation, remove the selfishness out of the door, become authentic, become a giver. Third key thing in networking. I recently hired a lawyer as a general counsel for our company. He got his investment license also. And I gave him 10 cards. I said, call these people up, let them know you have joined my practice and you want to meet them up for lunch. He said, that's great, but what am I going to be talking to them? I said, just keep your mouth shut, don't say anything, just find out what makes them successful. Find out everything there is to know about them and don't talk about yourself. Give them your ear. He comes back, he met one of the top IP lawyer in the city. He says, oh my God, he gave me 3 hours because I kept asking him questions and he just started telling me everything about life and he wants to meet again and we want to do business with him. So the key thing is become the greatest listener you can on the face of this earth. So if you use these 3 key things, be authentic, be a giver, think about how you can give something to somebody, and become a great listener, along with other simple technologies that we are sharing with you, you will become the greatest networker on the face of this earth. Fourth key thing is don't worry about being rejected. Don't worry about being rejected, because Michael Jordan did not fail. He did not accept rejection. He kept trying. So in life, we have 2 choices. In life, we have 2 choices. One, accept rejection or accept failure. What would you like to do? Would you accept rejection or would you accept failure? Rejection is okay. It's cool. Try it out again. Try it out again. We all have failed. We are all work in progress. We all are work in progress, alhamdulillah. If we weren't, and if we were so perfect, then we would become the toughest and the hardest people to live on. So it's good that we are all human beings and we are all work in progress. It doesn't matter who we are, right? So that's number 4 key thing. Number 5 key thing is when something happens and someone is not giving you an appointment, as an example. Don't assume they don't like you. Don't take it personally. Go back to them at another time if you really, really want to do business with them with a different approach. Find out what their interest is in life, what it is they are looking for. Send them an article and take a different approach. But if you take something personally, that's where things start to go south. Then you want things to go north. To summarize, different things we have talked about so far, you have to understand the 4 A's in life, the quadruple A strategy, the aptitude, the attitude, action, accountability. And then remember how the Mindware program really works. It's about attitude. It's about attitude. Either you can have the greatest attitude on the face of this earth, or you can have a stinky attitude. You have to make a decision what kind of attitude you want. I have a very dear friend sitting here. He was responsible in building 3 of the best business units for Intel. He was a general manager. A few days ago, I said, Craig, I'm going to San Jose. Brother Niaz has invited us to speak. Why don't you come join? He's sitting right here. He says, I'll be happy to. He worked 29 years for Intel, created tons of business enterprises all over the world. He said, maybe I'll pick up something. I said, yes, come meet our great, wonderful community in San Jose. So it's all about attitude. Every time I have a symposium, he's there. So the key thing is, attitude makes you or breaks you. If you wake up in the morning with a narrative that something is wrong with this world, there is conspiracy happening against us because we are Muslims, and this is wrong, then guess what? You are placing an order with the universe. You are placing an order with the universe. So whatever order you are placing, universe comes back and says, thank you very much. When you go to Starbucks, you order a certain coffee or latte, whatever, they fill the order back to you. Is that correct or not? Correct? Elon Musk, 7 years ago, couldn't pay his bills. He couldn't pay his American Express card bill. He was behind. But he never accepted failure. He went through a bad divorce. Everything went south on him. But in his Mindware program, he said, I'm still going to give it the shot and make things happen. What kind of an attitude he was going through in his Mindware program? Think about it. That I can, and things will get better. A young girl from North Carolina named Mary. Her parents were drug addicts and she was homeless. Her best bathroom was a clean bathroom at a gas station. She's going to high school. Finally, the school janitor and his wife decided to give a place for Mary to live in. Mary got the best SAT score, full-time scholarship from Harvard, room and board both. When CNN interviewed her, I cried. CNN reporter asked Mary, with everything going wrong against you, what kept you going? Let's stop here with this question. With everything going wrong against you, what kept you going? And her answer was, I never let my situation define me. I never let my situation define me. So in life, we all can be put into a dark corner. Back in March 1999, my wife and I went through one of the biggest tragedy any parent can ever imagine. We lost our son, Mustafa, in a car accident. Drunk driver ran into the car, Lake Oswego outside Portland, Oregon. And at that time, I saw darkness. I thought life is over. I still remember the police and the chaplain coming to our door to tell us what happened. And I still remember how my wife collapsed on the floor and I had to lift her up. Within a month, we are driving around talking. An idea came to my mind that why don't we become advocates for those children that don't have anything? And there are tens of millions. So the One Ummah Foundation was created. Today we are in 13 countries. We have a couple of hundred schools that have been funded. And we are establishing a new program within the US called Single Mom, Single Focus, because we are finding single moms driving cars with bald tires, brakes that don't work, and they are a few $100s worth away from a disaster. And we want to give them a helping hand so that they can go to the next level. So in life, you have a decision to make. When you are put into a darkness, into a dark room, either you can make yourself depressed, make the whole world depressed, or you can turn the light switch on. What is your light switch? From one of the biggest slums in Karachi, Pakistan, city I was born in, came here 42 years ago. A young girl whose father was a driver that was hardly making $150 a month got a full scholarship 2 summers ago from Harvard. How did that happen? She was taking 2 to 3 buses to go to Karachi University. She had no computers. She had to use the computer lab. She came up with the best of the best of the best summer essay, test, everything you can think of. When her father went to tell her boss that my daughter is going to Harvard, he couldn't say Harvard. And the boss said, my kids can go there. How did that happen? She did not allow her situation to define her. So going back to networking, I didn't want to just come in and talk about networking by itself, because that would be focusing on the spare wheel of the car. You got to look at the whole car, not just the spare wheel. Don't say, let's just talk about spare wheel. It doesn't take you anywhere. Networking is a state of mind. Networking is about having the right attitude. You have to look within yourself if you're looking for turning on power to make things happen in life. So life is an internal job. Cat Stevens, I had the great honor and opportunity to spend time with him in London, in Dubai, in Mecca. He was asked by the editor-in-chief of Rolling Stone magazine after he came into Islam, that Cat, what happened to you? What happened to you? You had everything going for you. You had the mansion, your groupies, the money, the fame, everything. You gave up everything. And look at you now, such a simple life. And what Cat, which is Joseph, told the editor-in-chief of Rolling Stone magazine was, before all I had were things, and things did not make me happy. And what I have now lights me up when I wake up in the morning. Is that something? That tells you it is also the inside job. So what I like to do is to open this up for Q&A, and any questions you folks have, please feel free to ask, and there is a mic provided for you folks. So please go right ahead. So the gentleman in the front.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for a very powerful presentation. I would like to ask about this not taking, can you elaborate on not taking it personal?
Right.
If you can please elaborate a little bit, that would be great.
Great. Thank you so much. That's a great question. So the question is, what does it mean not to take something personally? So what happens in life is, let's say you are at home and a telemarketer called you right at 6:45 or 7 o'clock when you are having dinner. And what do? You're not very friendly to that person. That why are they calling? And you tell him, please, we can talk to you. That person on the other side have a choice to make, whether to take it personally or move on. And that's all it means, is don't take things like it relates to you. That's all it means. Don't take it personally, because then you are going to be hurting your self-esteem. The most important capital God has endowed you with in your endowment fund is your metaphysics, your belief in yourself. And that's what you have to take a look at. So, many people have come to me and say, oh my God, why do I have to learn more about self-esteem? Why do I have to work on my confidence? Why do I have to do this, this, this? Just like each morning we wake up, do we all take showers? We take showers, right? We don't come up and say, oh, I took a shower 6 months ago, I'm cool, I'm all taken care of. No. You still take a shower, sir. You don't have a choice. Same is, we have to keep working on our self-esteem, and we have to make sure that we don't go out and take things personally, because that's where the problem starts. Any other questions? Please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
You said you should be thankful for God to what you have every morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why do we need networking then?
For me?
Why do we need networking when you are thankful to God like what you have every day?
Great question. You're a genius. So the question is, if we are already thankful, we already feel comfortable with what we have, the idea is to have an attitude of abundance. You may not have the $5 billion that you really want, but the idea is to sell your mind that I am doing great. And I'm not frustrated, and I'm not desperate, and I'm not destitute. Right? So when you take that narrative in life, is starting your morning, because your eyes are working, is that correct? Right? Correct? Your heart is in good shape, you don't have, type 4 cancer, whatever. That means you're already ahead. You're already worth tens of billions of dollars, the fact you already have good health. Correct? So then, as far as networking is concerned, struggle is also a very important part of life. If you don't have to struggle and if you don't have to make effort, then life is really not worth living, right? So I remember seeing this beautiful sign in a school I used to go to as a very young 6-7-year-old. There was a big wall that we had to read this saying every morning during our physical training class. And it said, effort is the law of life. Effort is the law of life. To cease to strive is to cease to live. So struggle is good, trying out is good. So when you look at butterflies inside a cocoon, and somebody opens up the cocoon door, they come out, they have not made effort. So when they come out, because everything was given to them, they die very early. They can't make it in life. So whether you need networking or not need networking, that's a decision on your part. In my case, I feel I need networking every single day because that's part of my life. It's very personal. Any other questions? So you can ask the question and I can repeat your question. Okay.
So my question is
Yes. No, go ahead, ask the question. No big deal. Just speak up.
So let's say I want to meet XYZ person for ABC technology.
Right. Right.
So, let's say I want to invite him and talk to him, like discuss ideas or something.
Right.
And let's say he's one of the famous personalities, and like how can I get his attention to just invite him for lunch or something, and then get going.
Great. So what you want to do is you have a business proposal, you have an idea, and you want to talk with a rock star in the industry who's very successful. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the first key thing you have to remember is we are all equal. You have to believe that in your mind, right? About 27 years ago, I had to get connected with a gentleman named Quinton Breen, who was the co-founder of T-Mobile phone company. We met for dinner. We had a very good time talking about ideas. He ended up becoming my business partner, and we did deals all over the world. So first key thing is you have to call that person up, set up an appointment. And in your mind, you got to visualize that this person needs me as much as I need him. Right? So what does it mean to have this visualization process? Why is visualization important? How many of you have ever done a visualization exercise? How many? Few? I can tell you, 2 years ago, my youngest son, Abdullah, who's 13, their team was in the State of Oregon finals, and I did a 45-minute class for the whole team, parents, coaches, visualizing that they are going to win, and alhamdulillah, they won the cup. Visualization is very important. If you take the approach that you will get the appointment and you visualize a positive, it will happen. I never ever believe that anyone is not going to give me an appointment. They always do. Maybe they feel sorry for me, whatever it is, but they do. So visualization, if you go back to the Mindware shot, it starts with a belief. Unless you have the belief, 51% of what it takes to make it in life is metaphysics. That's according to J. Paul Getty, right? So whatever you believe with absolute conviction gives you your thinking process. It gives you a thought process that gives you your thinking process, then you acquire an attitude. So it comes in a very simple way. About 3 weeks ago, I had a meeting with Father Robert Palladino, who lives in a little town outside Portland called Sandy, Oregon. Robert Palladino is that famous Reed College professor where I have also taken some courses that taught Steve Jobs how to do calligraphy. And that's how Apple came about, those fonts that he learned. So Father Palladino is 82 years old. He doesn't use emails. He told me it's ugly. And I have an interview on YouTube that you can listen to with Father Palladino. So he said, emails are ugly, I don't like it. He doesn't use cell phones. He has a regular phone and he writes. He has beautiful calligraphy, the best in the world. His young nephew was the architect for J. Paul Getty's museum in Los Angeles area. So very artistic family. So when I called him up, I found his phone number from public information, called him up, and I said, I want to have lunch with you. And he said, oh my God, where are you from? So I said, I was born in Pakistan. He said, my best student, Amin Chishti, was from Pakistan, and I knew Amin. He lives in Portland. So to make the long story short, don't be so afraid that someone is such a big rock star that they won't give you an appointment. They are lonely. They need life as much as you want. Let me tell you the biggest health issue Western world has today. United States of America, UK, and all these industrialized nations is loneliness. The biggest disease the world is facing right now is loneliness. It's not obesity. You can still have your pizza. It's the loneliness. Loneliness is a very big issue, and they need you as much as you need them. So it's a state of mind. Any other question? Brother Andrew.
So, we all face failures in our lives.
Right.
Just so we know that you've had it too.
Yes.
What would be your greatest failure in business at this point, and how did you overcome it?
Great. Thank you for asking. Several of the enterprises I have started failed completely. I trusted a man that was going to import certain construction stones from Jordan, created a company called Stone of Jordan. I did my due diligence, check here, check here, check here. He had contract written in the name of Allah, all that. Turned out he did a Ponzi scheme to our community, and we had to put him away for several years in jail. So it happens, it hurt me, but you have to continue on. It was one of the hundreds of businesses that we have been involved in. Every now and then few will not work out. So when you have a failure, you must and you should feel bad. When you have a failure, you must and you should feel bad, because we are human. We don't like to be cheated. Happens. But you should have enough strength to get up and try one more time. I'll give you an example. One of the gentlemen that came to speak at my Rotary Club, he's a doctor, Dr. Kevin Walters in Oregon, Sunnyside, Kaiser Permanente. When he was in high school, he was between a D and a F student. Anything he will start, he was failing. On top of it, Kevin was 150 pounds overweight. So his Secret Service code name was Butterball. So when he finally reached age 18, the school decided it's time for Kevin to go. Kevin, you have graduated. So he's out. Now, only thing he could find, he said, was he can enlist in Navy, because they had 3 requirements. You have to be a US citizen, you got to be able to breathe, and have a name. And he said, I passed those with the flying color. He get into the Navy. Once he's in the Navy, he learned the SEALs are coming to take people into the Navy SEAL for a simulation testing. He said, I want to be a SEAL. Everybody poo-pooed him and said, not you, Butterball, please, you want the world to make fun of you, what are you doing? Negative talk. He said, I am in, I'm going to go in. He put his name in, he is put through the simulation test. The SEAL captain that was responsible for hiring, looking at all these fit people, good-looking, handsome guys. Then he looks at the Butterball. He was trying the hardest. He wanted so bad, more than anybody else. He comes next to Kevin, put his arms around him on the right-hand side and said, Butterball, you rock. They took him in. First time in his life somebody said, I believe in you. Someone of authority. Someone of authority said, I believe in you. He gets into college where he started getting A's, became a physician, and he is now Dr. Kevin Walters at Kaiser Permanente, Sunnyside, Oregon. So I spent a few hours with him, and he told me, only way we can get out of this funk in this country with our young people is by providing mentoring. And you folks have this beautiful, vibrant community here. You guys are Silicon Valley, right here. So one key suggestion I will have, is all these businesses that are around you, network with them. Grass always looks greener on the other side, but grass is greener where you put the water, right? Wherever you put the water is where the grass is. So these businesses that are sitting around here, don't take them for granted. Appreciate them. Give them a hug. Tell them you believe in them. Do business with each other. That's how your community will get stronger. And these are the people that will have your back. Tomorrow when you're building another school, masjid, anything, they are the one, if they are successful, they'll be putting up the money with you. So from networking point of view, you have the opportunity to network right here. Any other questions? Please.
Yeah, we'll take one more.
Let's take two more. Be more generous, inshallah.
Thank you for the advices in this great lecture. My question is to avoid being trapped on using people as an ATM, as you say.
Right.
What do you think, I know we are all busy, sometimes it's hard to stay in contact with others.
Right.
How do you manage, from your personal experience, to stay in touch with so many people, or with people? Is there any tactics that you use? Is there any...
So I'm going to give you one extra point here. That's the best question of the session. The word that I avoid using from my vocabulary is I never use the word busy. The most successful people I happen to work with, these are the people, they have a building named after them in downtown San Francisco. They are my clients, they are my friends. I've been their advisor for 25 years. They're real players. They never ever have told me they're busy. So avoid the losers. The losers use the word busy as a crutch. Losers use the word busy as a crutch. So if you look at the positive self-image and assertiveness book I have done, and Brother Niaz can get you that book. If you go to our website, RubiconGlobalGroup.com, you'll be able to download it. We talk about that. The people that are successful are able to do hundreds of things, and they still have time to volunteer. And they're looking for a dozen more projects to make things happen, right? So this word busy is a very negative word. As soon as I meet people that tell me how busy they are, I write them off, because I don't want to do business with losers. That means they are not controlling their life in a proper way, they are not executing, and they are not even players. How can they be busy, right? So it's all a state of mind. Please.
Okay, last question.
Yes.
You said to be the best listener. How can we become good listeners rather than just best listeners?
Beautiful. So the question is, how